Okay, guys, I'm going to start off by saying that this game is kind of sort of really important for my mental psyche and how I look at Mons, because if you've been watching me on the channel recently, you will know that one, I haven't been playing the best, but two, I've also been getting pretty unlucky. And if I get unlucky for, I think, like the fourth game in a row, because like there's another game that like you guys haven't seen yet that I might not even upload for just like a fun thing, that I just haven't been having fun with this game because I've been so unlucky. So I'm hoping that this game is really different, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. With it, this is ICP week 4, right? We're going up against Team Knots. This is his first Wi-Fi league. He's done some showdown leagues before. I wanted to specify that before I talked about the team builder, but he has a rain team and we also have a rain team. The big difference between the two of us is I think his is more rain centered than mine is. Also, we made some transactions. So I dropped Articuno for 2 Pokemon. I dropped Articuno for Buffalant, and I also dropped it for Shelmet. It was 4 points, Buffalant was 3, Shelmet was 1, and I did this for a couple of reasons. One, I really wanted Spikes and T-Spikes. I feel very uncomfortable building each week without them, which is kind of funny because I've never really like put a lot of emphasis on Spikes and T-Spikes until this gen, and now I'm like, okay, I need to have them in every single league I'm in because they're that important to me. So I definitely made that transaction specifically for just games in general, and then my opponent actually picked up Articuno, which is really funny. But you're going to see Buffalant and Shelmet. You actually are going to see them this week, which was a complete coincidence whenever I started building. But yeah, so I wanted to win this week. If you look at their team, Barraskewda, Pelipper, Ludicolo, Gardevoir, Articuno, Audino, Dusclops, Kartana, Crocodile, Thundurus, and Toxicroak. This is not in the order that I think they're bringing them. This is just the order that I remembered them for the thing. But I definitely think that Ludicolo is coming because it shreds my team. I do not have a switch into it. Like it either 2-shots or is like 2% off of 2-shotting every single member of my team. I think Crocodile has to come because it's their only stealth rocker now. Since they dropped, what was it, Klefki, they don't even have spikes. And then I also really think that Dusclops is coming for my Passimian because of what I did week 1 with it. I think a lot of people are going to be scared of Passimian. Passimian is my favorite member of this team. Like, it is this Passimian right here. I love this Passimian. It is, I love it. If I could have a Pokemon IRL, it would be Passimian. And I'm starting to realize that, like, my favorite Pokemon right now are Regieleki and Passimian, and they're like 2 mid-tier Pokemon that I'm in love with. I cannot stop saying how good they are. I also think Kartana might come, but I think that Ludicolo is more so likely than Kartana because I do have a Zapdos, and Zapdos is a pretty hard wall to Kartana. It's not like a perfect wall, but it's a pretty hard wall. And then Thundurus is definitely coming because my ground type is weak to grass, and it could just cover Grass Knot. It could be like Nasty Plot, Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, Grass Knot, and it can hit my entire team for neutral or super effective damage. Yeah, it actually does hit everything on my entire team for neutral damage, which is really scary. I knew that going into this league that the Thunduruses were going to be the scariest Pokemon for me, and I've already played both of them. Well, I'm playing the second one now. So yeah, so how I want to win this game is with my Aegislash. I want to win with Spell Tag Aegislash spamming Shadow Sneak. But I want to lure him into the false sense of security that I'm actually a special Aegislash without Shadow Sneak, because I have Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, and King Shield. Shadow Ball is pretty much free versus their entire team aside from Audino, which I don't think Audino comes because of what Passimian can do versus it. Passimian can just set up all over it, and it can be like super annoying for them, or it could just come in, click Banded Close Combat, or click Choice Scarf Close Combat and claim a kill. It is so strong versus them. So I really don't think that Audino is coming just for that reason alone. But overall, Spell Tag Aegislash, super phenomenal. It pretty much claims a kill every single time. Their only real switch into it is Audino. So if Audino does come, I can pretty much expect it to come in every single time on this. But the way that I really want to break this team is with my Passimian. And I mentioned that Banded Passimian was really nice. Scarf Passimian is really nice. But I came up with this set. It is a sub bulk up Drain Punch knockoff. I have 205 HP. This allows me to guarantee not have my sub broken by a Nightshade or a Seismic Toss from Dusclops. At +1 with Drain Punch and Knockoff, I'm able to 2-shot Dusclops. I'm able to OHKO things like Spadef Audino. I'm able to 2-shot things like Thunderous. If it comes in on a knockoff, I can KO it with Drain Punch afterwards. Same thing with Kartana. And then I have enough speed for, I think it's max speed Pelipper, or it's like modest Pelipper, or like Specs Pelipper, things like that. I think that's what it is. And I think Uninvested Crocodile as well. But that is kind of sort of what this whole thing is meant to do. It's meant to come in on certain things that I know can't touch it, and then set up a sub, go for bulk up. Primarily the Dusclops. That is what I really want this thing to set up on, because I'm 100% confident that Dusclops is coming just for this Pokemon. This Pokemon, it shreds him if they don't bring a Ghost immunity. Like, their only real switches to it are Gardevoir and then Toxicroak, but even then, both of them don't want to take knockoffs. They don't want to take Earthquakes. Like, it has coverage for it. Whereas at least if they're scared of like a CC coming off, they can go into Dusclops. So really, really like Passimian. I'm bringing Shelmet this week. I'm bringing FizzDef Shelmet. This is going to be my Crocodile check. It is mainly here just to go for Spikes, T-Spikes, and because like their Granite Poison is a Toxicroak, and I'm not overly worried about a Toxicroak. Like, it's a little annoying, but I'm not like, I don't think it's like one of the top 3 threats. I think the top 3 threats for their team are Thundurus, Kartana, Ludicolo, Barraskewda, Gardevoir, things like that. And then I think Toxicroak is like the next in line after that. But I definitely wanted to have this thing to be able to come in on it, set up as many spikes as I want to, recover, stall it, and then I have Hydration. In case they bring Rain and they poison me, I can actually heal it off with Rain being up, which is really, really cool. And then I have Bug Buzz as for my offensive move of choice. It hits a lot of their team actually pretty hard. It hits Barraskewda pretty hard. It hits Ludicolo pretty hard. Gardevoir doesn't want to take Bug Buzzes all that much. Even from only base 40 special attack, it still does a decent chunk. And Kartana actually is 2-shot by this after a single spike. So that is kind of the big calc that I really wanted. I only need 4 investment. I was going to EV for that, but I only needed 4, which was really nice. Spadef Bouffalon is the next mod on the team. Sap Sipper to be able to soak up the grass type hits to force him to not be able to go for a Leaf Blade with Kartana, Giga Drain or Energy Ball with Ludicolo, things like that. I'm able to soak up pretty much, so I'm not 2-shot by Ludicolo's Life Orb, Modest, Hydro Pump in the Rain. I can live 2 of them. And then I can click Mega Horn and kill it back if it thinks that I don't have a move to touch it. I'm able to live multiple hits from Thundy. I'm able to live 2 Focus Blasts from Heavy Duty Boots Thundy. I'm able to live multiple Psychics and Moon Blasts from Guard. I'm able to live like a lot of hits with Spadef AV Bouffalon. It is super, super fat, and with base 110 attack, it actually still hits pretty hard. Facade, Rock Slide, Close Combat, Mega Horn, if you go down the list, it pretty much hits everything on their entire team for neutral damage aside from Dusclops, which is kind of sort of what I want, so that way I can bring in Passimian and set up. Next up, we have Mixed Defensive Sylveon. I want to give a shout out to Hot Honcho for this set because he pretty much made it for me while I was at work, and it was perfect for me. It lives pretty much everything. It lives multiple Side Shocks from Gardevoir. It lives multiple Thunderbolts from Thundy. It lives multiple Sludge Waves from Thundy if it's timid. If it's modest, it's like a 50-50 roll, but I think he has to be timid to be able to outspeed my Celebi and my Zapdos, because if I bring Weather Ball Zapdos actually also just shreds this team. Like, it is phenomenal versus them. Yeah. And then Witch Protect, Hyper Voice, Baton Pass. But Hyper Voice is really spammable versus them. Their only resist is a Kartana, and Kartana is not a resist to Hyper Voice. It still takes like 45%, which is really, really nice. But Wish Protect, Hyper Voice, Baton Pass. If I'm able to Wish Baton Pass into Bouffalon, this thing will never die. If I'm able to Baton Pass into Shelmet, it'll never die. And if I'm able to Baton Pass into my Zapdos, which is my designated check to Kartana, which never gets 2-shot by any combination of moves aside from like Crit, Leaf Blade, and Life Orb knockoff. That is the only thing that can actually do a lot of damage to me. But Banded knockoff, I can take 2 of them because like the second one won't do as much with Heavy Duty Boots. And then I'm able to do a lot of damage. But I think if I play Team Knots again in playoffs, I know how I want to build. I think I built in a way to give me options a second time, which is really, really nice. And I think that I also built in a way to where I have win cons. They might not be the best this game because like, I don't have a lot of speed on this team. Like, this team is very, 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 very fat. And I wanted to play a fatter game to try to break everything down, always live a hit, because their offense is pretty frail. Like, if you go down the list, Thundy isn't like frail, but it's pretty frail whenever you consider that it's going to be taking like a knockoff. It's going to be taking like a rock slide, a hyper voice from Sylveon, things like that. Kartana is frail on the Spadef side. Barraskewda is pretty frail. Gardevoir is pretty frail on the physical side. And then Ludicolo is also pretty frail on the physical side. So a lot of their offense is frail. So I'm hoping that the hazard stack will end up working in my favor. But that is going to be the team, guys. With that, let's just go ahead and hop right over into the battle. What's going on, everyone? My name is UnderTheRadar, and welcome back to the ICP. This is going to be the week 3 battle, I believe. We're going up against Team Knots, and this is week 4. Yeah, this is week 4. We're 2-1. Yes. Have fun, bro. And I'm pretty nervous for this game because as you would have seen yesterday, I just played my EWT game, and I have not had good luck recently with this game, and it's not depressing, but it is definitely not comforting going into a game knowing that I have been crit, flinched, haxed, and I told him earlier, I was like, if I lose to Hax or if I get haxed really hard. He brought rain, that little hoe. We said we weren't bringing rain. He also didn't bring the thing, the Dusclops. Okay, so I want to calc one thing before I do this. So, what's that Pokemon called? Toxicroak. What was I saying? Okay, so I need to have a bulk up before I start to do any damage to it. Yeah, so also they have like 3 defoggers, but I really want to get up a spike. Yeah, I just really don't want to lose to Hax again. Like, I'm fine if I lose, I just don't want a Haxy game. Like, that's all that I can really ask for, is just please don't be Haxy. Yeah, they didn't bring rocks or spikes or anything, which is really good. Rick Sanchez, it's Thundy. So what I'm going to do here is, I think I'm going to go hard into my Sylveon. Yeah, I'm gonna go hard into my Sylveon. One for Volt Switch. Get me down to 149. Okay, so it looks like he's non-boosting item, which is pretty good. And because he went for Volt Switch, that could also mean that he is non-setup. Because I think he would need Thunderbolt. I think he would need Sludge Wave or Flash Cannon. Blossom? Kartania. I did remember to bring Static on Zapdos, right? Yes. Okay. I'm just gonna go hard into it. Because my Zapdos takes on Kartania pretty well. Goes for Leaf Blade. 119. No Life Orb. Did 40 points of damage. He's banded. Yeah. Okay, so he's banded Kartania, which is okay. I'm just gonna fire off a Roost. Just so that way I can always take this thing on. At Butcher. Audinho? Audinho, what are you doing here, little guy? Also, I know I'm saying these Mons names incorrectly. just before anyone says anything. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go for a U-turn. Cool. Went back into this thing. I definitely can't go into Shelmet, but what I can do is I can go into Boufflant. Because they didn't bring their, Water Boy, their Ludicolo. So I can fire off a free Rock Slide and do a good amount of damage. Their Focus Blast is not two-shotting me. Thunderbolt is doing less than 25%. They go for Volt Switch. No, to 165. Yeah. Okay, so it is confirmed non-boosting item. And whatever they go into, I think I have a coverage move for everything. Blossom. What's this? Artania. Didn't do anything. But I know that they're banded. I have my Zapdos still at full health. I'm just going to go hard into Zapdos. Smart Strike is doing 34%. Leaf Blade isn't two-shotting. Knockoff into something is the only thing that I'm kind of worried about. But even then, like, yeah, knockoff into a Leaf Blade. And I get the static. That's great. Now I get to roost for free. Well, not for free. Just gonna roost. Because I know that they're locked into Leaf Blade. Cool. I mean, I'm honestly fine with playing this same dance. Zapdos versus Thundurus. Thunderbolt is like a roll to two-shot me, but if they go for Volt Switch, I'm just going to roost up and stay healthy. Yeah, I'm just going to roost up and stay healthy. Like, if they go for Thunderbolt, that's fine. If they go for Volt Switch again, I'm going to be back at full. Which is more so what I need. Trying to force them to play a little bit differently. Okay. I really need to get up a spike. Like, he's doing a lot of switching in his Kartana, his this. So I really, really, really want to... might go for Heal Bell with Kartana. But Kartana now definitely can't touch me. I'm going to go into... Since he stayed in, I'm going to go into my Shelmet and I'm going to set up a spike. Goes for Heal Bell. Okay. Seeing that Kartana is banded, I might not be worried about defog on it. I'm just going to get up a spike. Start chipping that thing down. Goes for Toxic. That's fine. Because the second you set up Rain and I bring this thing back in, I'm good. Go for a Spiker. And part of me wants to get up a T-Spike so whenever this thing comes back in, it'll be poisoned. But at the same time, I'm not really sure. if they go into Thundy here or Pelipper, Deep Throat, that's Pelipper. Getting rid of my Toxic, which is what I want. And now I have 100% accurate Hurricanes too with Zapdos. Okay. I'm going to go hard into Zapdos here. Expecting either the Hurricane or the Defog. Goes for Defog. And now I get to fire off a Hurricane. Because even to Thundy, I'm doing 30%. If it's Specs, it can't switch moves right now. But it's going to stay and take 75%, which is really good. A little bit less than 75, but they go for U-turn. Static? Yeah, I'm going to make it really annoying for him to always want to go for U-turns. Yeah, so I think he has Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Grass Knot, coverage move for something. Okay, so we went back into Thundy. I don't want to get hit by a Thunder. I think that's my biggest worry. I'm just going to go into my Bouffalant. Yep. I'm going to do 30%. And now I have boosted Facade. I'm going to click CC here. Because I don't want Kartana coming in for free. I want it to take a good amount of damage. And last time he went into Kartana, and he's been making pretty much the same switches every single time. He hasn't been like switching it up too much. He went for Thunder again. Wow. Okay. That is unfortunate. Do get a little bit of chip. If I clicked Facade there, okay, so I'm at 47. Means I'm at 23%. It's actually a roll for Thunderbolt, so Volt Switch never kills me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm at -1 Spadef. I'm at -1 Spadef. Yep. The -1 Volt Switch always killed me. But now that I have this thing in, what I can do is I can actually protect in front of the Kartana. See what it's going to lock himself into. Get a little bit more lefties recovery. Because this thing is getting a little weak. And if he goes for Leaf Blade, goes for Smart Strike. Okay. I'm going to drop in my Aegislash. So that way, if he goes into Thundy, I have my Aegis-Slash-In forcing him to switch again. I wish I had Hazards up, but I don't. He stayed in, so he clicked it again. Goes for Smart Strike. This is doing about 30%. Yeah. Now, I'm going to go for Shadow Ball because it guaranteed kills from this range, but at the same time, it forces him into Auto-No. And I can't always wish up my my Sylveon. And I can wish up my Bouffalant too, depending on like how late we are in the game. Draw, are you gonna go into Auto-No? No, you didn't. Okay. That took a lot. I'm going to hard switch here. I'm going to King Shield first. Just to see if you're physical or special. Knockoff, perfect. I'm gonna go for Shadow Ball again, I think. Actually, no. I'm gonna make a really hard play. I'm gonna make a really hard read. Oh, he stayed in. That little bitch. Ooh, okay. I should be slower than this thing. I'm gonna go for a sub. Like at this point, a Drain Punch doesn't kill me. He would have to go for Gunk Shot to kill me, or to like break my sub. Goes for Protect as I get up a free sub. Perfect. That's what I was hoping for. So now I'm at +1/+1. And if he goes for Gunk Shot, he will break my sub. But after that, I will have a substitute, or I will be at +1/+1, and then Gunk Shot does 20 to 25 to me. Let's go for Bulk Up. We also still don't know if I actually outspeed him or not. Because, like, we haven't gone for anything that has the same speed priority. I do outspeed him. Perfect. He cannot break my sub with anything. And at +1, Drain Punch does 2-shot him. Poison Jab definitely does not break my sub. I'm not going to be super greedy with this. I'm just going to go for Drain Punch right away. Because I don't want him to get to the point to where he can live multiple hits. I think I'm going to go for Knockoff first. No, I'm going to go for Drain Punch. Does 37 to 44. Which definitely looks like it's a 2-shot in this range. And if he goes into quite literally anything else, he's sacking something off. Pelipper dies to Drain Punch into Knockoff. Yep. Thunderous dies, Drain Punch into Knockoff. And I keep my sub, which is massive. back at full health. I'm gonna go for knockoff just in case Drain Punch didn't kill. I really don't want to risk it. It's like I don't need the recovery. I just need to go for knockoff. And he could switch into Thundy thinking that I'm mono Drain Punch. This is kind of the leeway I needed with this. I needed to be able to get this thing in. I needed to be able to set up just a little bit, break something, because it would take away a key focus of his pivoting, which, as you saw, was defog. If I'm able to now set up a spike, I'm good to go. Okay, so now whatever he goes into is dying. Let's see. Crit didn't matter, which is nice. He goes into Gardevoir, knock off to 72 to 86. They go into Kartana. They can break my sub, but like Drain Punch does 100% minimum. They go into Thundurus. Knockoff is doing like 78%, I think. 63 to 75. They do go into Thundurus. I'm gonna go for knock. I go for Volt Switch. What do they go into? Because they don't have anything else to take a knock. Unity, that's Gardevoir. Uninvested, this is doing 72 to 86. Let's see. Yep, that did about uninvested, but they're AV. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go into... I think I have to sack off Bouffalon, which is really unfortunate because I don't want to. Can I go into Sylveon? Unboosted Gardevoir Psyshock two-shots me. I can't. I had to sack off Bouffalon, which is really unfortunate because Bouffalon looks really, really nice for a lot on their team. But Passimian is just way too important, and I can't risk them outspeeding me. It's funny that I lived that Moonblast. I'm gonna go for a Facade just in case they switch. They shouldn't, though. They should just fire off a Moonblast. Because if they switch into pretty much anything else, yeah, they go for Psyshock. I'm going to go into my Sylveon here, and I'm going to... I don't have to worry about Thundurus having 100% accurate Thunders anymore, which is really nice. But what I'm going to do... is I think I'm going to go into Zapdos here. No. I'm just going to go into Sylveon, I think. Get a Wish up. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. And Sylveon versus Kartana. Hyper Voice is doing 56%, which is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just fire off a Wish. Go for Psyshock. This never kills me. Okay, so Psyshock does have a role to kill me, so I'm not even going to risk it. I'm just going to go for Protect. I'm not going to risk them doing something unpredictable. They went for Mystical Fire. I could have lived that. Just super unfortunate. I'm going to go for another Wish, and then... yeah, I'm going to go for another Wish. I really do want my team to stay healthy. He was probably predicting the I assume he was predicting the Aegislash to come in. Pat Butcher. It's Audino. Cool. Now I'm going to start getting out my hazards because now I'm at a point in the game to where I need them. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Baton Pass, I think. No for knock. That's totally fine. I now get my oof. Do I get up a hazard? Or do I go... Yeah, getting up a hazard I think is more important at this point in time. Because I need to start chipping away at that Kartana. Yeah. I also can't really get up a T-Spike freely because of the Toxicroak still there. So I think just getting up as many spikes as I possibly can right here is what's going to be important. Gardevoir. I'm going to stay in, and I'm going to actually get up a second spike. Because Mystical Fire barely two-shots me, which is hilarious to think about. And now we've got up 2 spikes, which is phenomenal for Kartana, for this, for Toxicroak, for everything. Phenomenal. Now I'm going to go into my Sylveon and I'm going to wish back up. This is a little bit slower of a game, but I knew that it would be with the way that I was building it. I've been playing so offensively recently that playing a game like this just makes me feel really comfortable. I'm going to go for a wish. Having 2 spikes up on the field makes me feel so much better about all of this. Blossom went back into Kartana, which is cool. And that is what I wanted right there. It's unfortunate that I have to like Wish Protect stall him, but since I know that he's banded... Also, shout out to Shelmet being literally the MVP. I don't even have like a custom sprite for it yet. I'm just going to go hard into Zapdos. Smart Strike is doing 29%. Can I get the para? No. I'm just gonna roost up. I do really wish I had rocks on this team for Thundy, just to like make sure it's boots and to make sure it's not like expert belt or something, but I really think it's just boots. Audino, that's fine. I'm going to go for a U-turn here. Because if I go for a U-turn, I can drop in my Shelmet again, and I can click another spike. And if they try to pull a switch, baiting me out to go for a Thunderbolt or something, I'm never going to do it as long as they have Thundy in the back. But since they stayed in... I'm going to drop in my Passimian. Oh, no, that's not good. I'm still gonna go for knock, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a knock here, just to get rid of its leftovers. Staying in, wow. That looks to be Spadef, which is okay, I guess. I'm gonna go for knock here to prevent the Gardevoir. Or do I go for a Drain Punch? I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I'm gonna go for knock. Letting this thing toxic was not good on my end. Rick Sanchez, that's fine. Because now at least I know this thing is getting rid of its boots or whatever item it has. Perfect. And it's probably going to get back up to full with this. No, not quite, which is good. I do need to save this thing, however. Thunderous Therian. Volt Switch is doing 50% to me. Because I know he's going to go for Volt Switch here. There's just nothing that I feel comfortable doing about it. I would rather let the Kartana go down to spikes and let Gardevoir go down to spikes and hazards and stuff like that. Ooh, they finally went for Sludge Wave. Nice. Does 42 to 50 to me. I'm at 109. I'm at 101. I'm at 51%. I'm gonna go for a wish. Goes for Sludge Wave again. Just don't get the poison, please. You get the poison, that would be bad. Or you can crit me. No, you just... What? Are you modest, maybe? About the only thing I could think of is that you're modest. That sucks. I'm gonna go into my Age Slash, I think. I do live a Dark Pulse. I'm gonna go for a Shadow Ball. I live a Thunder too, which is really good. Cool. Okay, so that sucks. I'm gonna go into my Passimian here because I don't want him to get another wish off to that thing. I want to make sure that that thing dies whenever it comes back in, because at this point in time, that is the biggest threat to my team. And knockoff does kill from this range. They go for wish. Drain Punch also kills, but I don't think it'll kill Guard. Yeah, I think it will after the hazards damage. I'm gonna go for Drain Punch. Unity, that's Gardevoir. It's a little bit healthier than I thought it was. Oh no. That is the opposite of good. That is quite bad, actually. I'm sorry, Shelmet. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Oh man, that is the opposite of good. I'm gonna go for Bug Buzz just in case they try to go into Thunderous. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go into my Zapdos. Because if I go for Hurricane here, I can pressure some stuff. I'm back into Audino. I'm going to click Hurricane again. Oh, that stinks. Not the worst thing in the world, but it does stink. I just want to prevent this thing from getting a wish off into anything of usefulness. Okay, hit a Hurricane. That's good. I get the confusion. 25% chance. Don't hit yourself. I don't want to win by hacks. Okay, cool. In order to prevent the pass, I'm going to go for Hurricane again. Oh my god, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal, because if I switch this thing out now, my Aegislash can revenge kill two things. My Passimian. Okay, how do I want to do this? I need to save this thing. I need to save this thing for the Kartana. I'm going to go into Passimian, unfortunately. Man, hits all of his thunders. Good for him. Gonna go for Shadow Sneak here. I think I have to go for it again, don't I? If he is Sucker Punch and I clicked Shadow Sneak there, it was a bad play. So I went for King Shield. I think he's out of range of this. Go for Shadow Sneak. I'm gonna win on timer. He only has 3 seconds left. Oh, that sucks. That stinks. I would have at least liked the damage off on this thing. I am so sorry to do this, but I'm spamming Roost until he runs out of time. because I outspeed this thing. I don't have a reason. Man, it sucks to put somebody out to time like this, but I think that's my only way of winning. I'm gonna click Roost again. I'm sorry to do this. This was such a good game. Me letting Passimian get toxic and me staying in on the Sludge Wave was a big misplay. Those were two massive misplays. I definitely could have played those better. Oh man, I'm sorry to win like that, but God, I feel bad. I feel bad winning the timer like that. Like that sucks. I'm sorry, but that was such a good game. It had like very little hacks, bro. GG. Yeah. You're a fucking beast. Like seriously, he is. This is, so just for a little backstory, this is Team Knotz's first draft league ever, and he's really good. He's one of Dr. Slacking's friends, which I assumed made him really good, but he is extremely good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut for just a minute, and then I'm going to talk about where I think I messed up in this game, because realistically, I lost that game if it wasn't for land timer. If it wasn't for land timer, I lost that game 100% of the time. I might have been able to bring it down to like a 3-0 or a 2-0, but I want to definitely talk about some of the mistakes I made, because I definitely think I made some. I definitely think I made at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, with that, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're back here, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about where I messed up. I do end up winning the game 1-0 because of land timer, which is stupid, but luckily that is the first game that I've won due to timer and effectively going to like stall out my opponent's timer. Like that is the first game I've done that in all of Gen 8, and I started playing a while ago. So I kind of wanted to talk about some misplays that I made. So the first one I actually think I made with Bouffalant. And it was right here where I clicked CC. Okay, so I'm not paralyzed at this point. Or no, I am paralyzed at this point. I'm sorry. I'm paralyzed at this point. If I click Facade, this thing dies. Like it just drops. And I just want to double check that it drops, because it's a 74 to 87%, and as you can see, now he's a little bit out of range, but it would have put him much lower, forcing Audino to try to wish pass to this thing earlier on, or it would have been insane. But the first para, right? So I got fully paralyzed right there. I just don't want to hear my voice. I hate my voice. So it was right here that I got fully paralyzed, which if I clicked CC there, and then I would have gotten the chip damage off. I would have had this at much more health if I had gotten that CC off, and then I could have switched out into something else to try to take the hit, or I could have sacked this thing off then and there. But either way, like the me not clicking Facade was definitely, or Rock Slide for that matter, is definitely the play of the game that like I can, no, not the biggest play of the game, the play of the game where I can really see that I made a mistake. Yeah, so definitely regret that decision. But then whenever we move on a little bit, and like this whole game is just really like passive, and I played this section of the game really well, forcing a kill on Pelipper, and then forcing the Gardevoir to be at full amount of health. But if I didn't get paralyzed on that one turn, I would have had my Bouffalant at much more health than what it's at. I would have had it like right here if I got off that first CC, and then I switched out on the Thunder into like Shell Mid or literally anything else. I actually probably wouldn't have, because like Sylveon would have died, right? It looks like it could be a roll because there's no hazards, but yeah, I definitely think that like the pair there, it sucked, but I don't think it mattered too much. because I don't know what I would have switched into Thunder, you know. But forcing the para off on something, and then the fact that my Bouffalant lived the first hit made it even funnier, because if I had switched out and then I had gone into Sylveon, I could have wished this up later. But because I didn't really want to have Sylveon take 2 Psyshocks, and I didn't want to go into Zapdos, because Zapdos also, real quick, I want to talk about this. I feel like these after points are really important because of how fast you have to move with Land Timer. You need to know like how much I think a para matters, a crit matters, where my misplay matters, why I made the misplay, things like that. So so I definitely think that it's important for me to go over this in the end. But so if Gardevoir went for Psyshock versus my Zapdos, it was doing 34 to 41, and then I could have lived Moonblasts and stuff like that, but it still would have just been annoying because my Zapdos would have gotten weakened for Kartana. So I definitely think that I could have switched into other things, but if I did, I would have been sad. Also, I need to make custom sprays for Shelmet and Bouffalant. These are my 2 transactions for the week. But yeah, so then that happens. I go into Sylveon. We go into this little, not Stallfest, but I get on my hazards, and then right about here, I make the first big misplay. So what I was considering doing on this turn is I was considering going for a U-turn and then dropping in something like my Aegislash, because I knew that I could take a knockoff. I knew that I could take anything, and then it would prevent them from wish passing into anything, and it would have forced them to stay in. And then I could have played a little bit more offensively whenever they went for the wish the following turn, once they got up to a better amount of health. That is something that I should have done. If I had U-turned into Aegislash, they would have gone for Toxic. It would have done nothing. I could have gone for Flash Cannon, which Flash Cannon didn't do a whole lot to Audino. It did 30%, and knockoff was doing about 24% to me in shield form. But I could have like King Shield. I could have been really annoying to that Audino had I just brought in Aegislash. If I had brought in Aegislash, it would have been so much better for me. And then I think that the end game would have been a lot cleaner, because my Passimian wouldn't have been taking toxic damage later on in the game. But that's the, I don't know if that's the biggest misplay, but that's a really big misplay that forced me to have to take him to timer and like actually consider that as a win con. But here I go for knockoff, get a lot of damage, and then I have to, so this is another really big moment in the game. So Sludge Wave takes me from 101, but the first time, what does it do? So I'm at literally full health, okay? I don't have lefties at this point because they've gotten knocked off. Sylveon, let me ask him real quick. Were you modest on Thundy? I don't think he should have been, but he could have if he wasn't worried about Zapdos. But like if I was Weatherball Zapdos, he would have been sad. So yeah, so I'm at 199. Sylveon from Thundurus. Sludge Wave does 42 to 50.2, which is 50% because of the way Pokemon rounds down. He took me from 99 to 101. It did 98 points of damage. So you got a really good roll. And it should never do 101. It should do 100 points of damage. Absolute max. The only explanation is that he was modest. Which, if I'd gone into Aegislash there, I would have died to Thunder. But did Rain stop after that turn? Yeah, Rain was gone. I could have gone into Aegislash. Yeah, I definitely could have gone into Aegislash. But, you know, that was another really big misplay. But at the same time, like, I don't really know what else I could have done, because like it literally does 42 to 50. So I'm genuinely curious. The only explanation is that he's modest because I knocked off his heavy duty boots. But yeah, and then this para right here in the end game, it didn't matter. genuinely. If anything, it made it a little bit easier. Missing the hurricane wasn't overly important. It just meant that I would have killed him with a little bit more health. But the Shadow Sneak Para right here didn't matter, simply because if I got off the Shadow Sneak, it just would have put him at a lower amount of health, which, as you can see, he is sitting at how much health? I need to go back. No, so he was, I think he had some bulk investment, but it looks like Shadow Sneak wouldn't have killed him. If it did kill him, that would have been really, really, really bad, because then he could have brought in Kartana, and then I couldn't have roost stalled Kartana to win the game. I just couldn't have, especially if he was going for like knockoff. That would have been a lot more difficult for me to roost stall. So the Shadow Sneak Para was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but unfortunately it did end up going to timer, which is a little unfortunate. But at the same time, like, I think this team performed really well. Like, I think that I think the only thing I really could have asked for was to play a little bit better with Bouffalant, not get past Simian Toxic. But aside from that, literally everything did exactly what I wanted it to. I would have lost this game if it wasn't for timer, but you know, I also think, okay, so here's my thoughts on timer and using it as a win con, right? This is going to be a little bit of a podcast ending. But in Sword and Shield meta, right, using timer as a win con, I think is less scummy than using timer as a win con back in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and X and Y, because I've been playing since X and Y, like since GBA Season 2, I've been playing, which if you don't know what GBA is, it was started back in 2014 or 15, and I've been playing since then. I've been doing Draft League, and people have been trying to use timer as a win con ever since back then, but it's like, that you have to stall out a 60-minute timer. With this, you just have to make moves faster than your opponent and not make sure you die. So it's a little bit more on your opponent's terms rather than on your terms, and I think I like that a lot more as like using it as a win con. But at the same time, it's impossible to go into a game wanting to timer stall your opponent, because if they have ways around your passive stuff and they can make the moves quickly, you can't timer stall them. So late game, using it as a win condition, knowing that you're up that much of what I was, it's still scummy to me, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I'm sorry to timer stall him. Is it even considered timer stall? I don't know. I'm sorry for timer stalling him. That is not what I wanted to do going into this game. I wanted Passimian to break a little bit more. I wanted my Shellman to get up a little bit more hazards, and I wanted Aegislash to clean up with Shadow Sneak, which it could have done at that range, I think. Versus Kartana, how much did you do? Like 20%? Yeah, it did 23 to 37. That would have taken 2 layers of spikes. Nah. It wouldn't have killed, but either way, GG's to Team Knots. He is a phenomenal coach for this being his first draft league. Might be his first Wi-Fi draft league, but either way, like, he played really, really well. He's a beast. I'm expecting him to make playoffs. Hopefully I make playoffs too, but we're now moving to 3-1. Don't know what the differential is. I think it's 1-0, but with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you could, in the comments down below, let me know what you guys think about using the timer as a win condition in Sword and Shield meta versus older metas. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.